Here is my problem. 4 large tripods with lights and camera on. They take a lot of space. And I thought, why don't I try and use this cheap sliding door hardware and make a sliding boom arm on my ceiling to hold all this stuff. What can go wrong? Hopefully this entire thing will not fall on my head. This track and 4 wheels are supposed to hold 60 pounds, so I should be good. Sliding well, at least for now. First problem here is that these wheels can easily fall out, and I want them to move together and hopefully not be dangerous for me. So I decided to make some kind of a guide for the rail that will connect 2 sets of wheels together. Unfortunately, I don't have a scroll saw or even a coping saw, so I was trying to figure out how do I make these cuts, and came up with the easier solution, just to drill a couple of holes and finish the rest with a wonderful handsaw. Be honest, how many rusty tools do you have in your shop? Slides pretty good, but needs more sanding. And I wish it was just sanding, but nope. Trying to connect all the parts so that it would still be plumb with the ceiling, or my table in this case. Okay, still sliding. Fingers crossed. But something tells me that when I attach the rail to the ceiling, things may change. While it was sliding pretty good, I still wanted it to be able to hold its position and not slide too far. So I came up with a magnet solution. Since this track is made from steel, magnet should hold it in place. Practicing my chisel skills. I hope they get better soon. At least it looks cute. Next thing was the boom arm on its own. Gantry had a lot of space in between, so I added some spacers. Even though this plywood is pretty lightweight, I wanted to add additional holes to help me manage wires and reduce the weight even more. I'm using my fancy bit from Taylor Toolworks that I won on the Makers Challenge. It's pretty cool. And here's how the main boom arm looks with the gantry. I love these JSON guides, but I always struggle with push sticks and trying to be very careful. Not always there is enough space between them and the blade. If you know how to solve this problem, let me know in the comments below. Since I'm going to use some inserts and nuts, I had to make certain parts wider. Lining up those pieces with glue was a nightmare. It was sliding and moving all over the place. Next time I'll try that salt trick. Trying another clamps, but it's still moving. This part is gonna hold small arms, and it will have 2 inserts on each side. What could be better than to mess up with glue? Huh. We're gonna to attach it to the main arm with help of a nut in the middle. These are the spots for two inserts on the opposite sides. I'm struggling to keep those inserts plumb. Hopefully it won't be a problem later. And here I realize I probably need to make sure it still slides with the screws on. Let's get it all up and see if it still works. It still slides, but not too well. So I'm marking the spots where the gantry touches the rail and sanding them off. Attaching gantry to the arm with two screws on one side and just one screw on the other. That will help me in future to realize my mistake. And it's getting stuck. Apparently, there's too much material in between the rails, so I'm doing my best to remove it. Again, my skills with chisel could be better, but hey, I'm learning. Looks like a dog bit it. It helped some, but there are still cases when it's getting stuck and getting jammed between the ceiling or the rail. So I completely took the sides off. Now I'm worried that it can actually fall out, but since I have that magnet on this side, it kind of prevents it from doing so. And since I don't want the entire thing to fall on my head, I'm making sort of end caps for the rail from scraps. I also want these nice knobs. They came in really handy here. Just inserting a bolt inside and it works. This is my first attempt with the rotor table. As you can see, not everything went well and wasn't even, but I kind of figured it out and fixed it. Looks much better now. These slots will help me to adjust those small arms. Marking the spots that I will need to cut off because it will not let me turn the small arms. Now it's time to put it all together and try it out. And as you can see, this over the blade dust collection gets in the way. Later I had to cut the main boom arm shorter. Next I had to make small adjustments. Some parts needed to be thicker, some parts needed to be thinner, and some parts had to have a different shape. This one is made so that the smaller arms could actually rotate around it. The gantry still needed some tune-up, so I decided to disassemble it and cut off the edges. And after sliding it back and forth 1000 times, I finally realized that I actually don't need those two screws on one side. It better be able to pivot, then it will slide well. So I took it all off again and figured I better use a bolt to connect these parts together. And of course I made a mistake and my hole appeared too close to the side, so I had to redo the entire thing. No. Now it looks much better. Putting it all back together and testing it out. I can set it to be lower or asymmetrical and do all sorts of slides and twists with it, and I hope to get an interesting footage for it. Lots of scraps had to be tossed away, but that's okay. I'll keep this one. So let's see what kind of shots I got.